Hello, my name's Hillary Davis McNeil. I live in the neighborhood behind the new Beverly Village for Living in the Arts. I am addressing this video to Mayor Cahill, to City Commissioner Michael Collins, to City Engineer Lisa Chandler, and to all my city councilors. I would like to invite you to take a walk with me in my neighborhood to understand a safety concern I have for myself and for the residents of this building and for other elderly folks who live here. Prior to the city filling in what had been a dirt road connecting Sohier and Colin with this mound of dirt, there had been a crosswalk right here. And this worked really well for anyone coming from my neighborhood who was trying to get downtown to Cabot Street, to the public library, even to the Dollar Tree right around the corner. I know a lot of residents in my neighborhood that abuts a public housing project. I know a lot of the low-income residents who live here really appreciate living near the Dollar Tree. And it used to be that you could just cross Colin Street right here, right about here, and just hug the side of the road, and you'd be right onto the sidewalk leading straight up to the Dollar Tree. The only issue is that there's not a sidewalk on the other side of the road, but that side of the road is not used for anything in particular, so from a space perspective, it seems like there could easily be a sidewalk there. The great thing about the crosswalk here was that there's wonderful visibility in both directions. As you can see, it's easy for a pedestrian to know if there is an oncoming car, and certainly for a car to have enough time ahead to see a pedestrian who might be in a crosswalk. What happened after the city removed the Colin Street crosswalk was the only way to get downtown as a pedestrian is through a labyrinth of crosswalks, including the first of which I consider to be the death trap. I want you to first notice how at night it's pretty dimly lit here. And so nothing that makes it particularly easy for a car to notice that a pedestrian is in fact entering the crosswalk. I want you to notice that there is a pedestrian currently waiting at the crosswalk, and she's decided to jaywalk, which is what I often do because clearly cars just don't notice that you're there. I want you to imagine that you're a person whose only mode of transportation is a wheelchair, or that you're a young mom of 2 children, one in a stroller and one on a bicycle, or you're someone carrying groceries home from the Dollar Tree. All right, now let's see, how are you going to make this journey? Entering crosswalk number 1. Okay, I've succeeded in crossing crosswalk number 1. Crosswalk number 2 is less treacherous. If we're blind or otherwise differently able, that is a second crosswalk we have to navigate. Now our jaywalker friend, just a note, is already rounding the bend. She's making much better time. Coming up on this exit to one of our local banks, so that's a third pedestrian crossing that needs to be made across potential traffic. And here we come to crosswalk number 4. This one thankfully has a flashing sign, so we'll wait. But let's just go ahead and cross. So we're crossing crosswalk number 4. Remember, I'm headed to the Dollar Tree, so I'm gonna have to hit another signal here. And again, wait. Okay, crosswalk number 5. Oh, we're not done, folks. Here comes crosswalk number 6. Wait. So as you can see, that's a journey, and in heavy traffic, that journey can take quite a long time just to get to the next walkable sidewalk. Now, I want you to imagine that instead of having to cross 6 intersections, how much better it would be for a pedestrian, especially someone who has any kind of special needs, to not have to navigate 6 intersections, one of which is terrifying. And if we could just follow the sidewalk from Cabot onto Colin Street and then cross back over Colin Street somewhere up here where there's lots of visibility and where it frankly is just a lot safer. And now I'd just like to show you some footage that I took earlier today in the daylight of what the traffic pattern is like and what the visibility is like in the death trap. As you can see, there's no signage, no color in the crosswalk, really even indicating that this is a pedestrian crosswalk, given all that's going on the ground over here with the white lines. Yeah, no signage, no flashing lights, and a crazy cluster of insane driving. This line of cars is blocking all visibility, so let's be a pedestrian and see what happens. Oh, hey, this car's almost gonna hit me before he sees me, thanks. All right, trying to edge through. Oh, this is beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so it's really great. Oh, we got a pedestrian. Let's see how this goes for him. Do you think that car is gonna notice that guy? No, he's just pissed off that the Suburban cut him off. Now again, I just quickly invite you to keep in mind that myself and that man who just crossed the street are able to run if we need to escape from a car, which I have done at several points in this intersection. But imagine that you're in a wheelchair or that you're an elderly person and you're moving slowly and a car doesn't see you in time. But as for my making this homespun video, is that actually last night I was in that intersection. I did make eye contact with the cars that I could see before entering the crosswalk, but while I was in it, a car whipped around the corner and came within 1 foot of hitting me, and I believe that really could have been the end of my life. I was terrified, she was terrified, she felt horrible, she rolled down her window and apologized to me. It was an awful experience for both of us. And I honestly don't know if it could have really been prevented, in the sense that I think she just was not able to see me given the structure of that intersection. So let's see what this traffic looks like for people coming from Gloucester Crossing. Now, if you're waiting at that red light on Cabot and then you take this right here, there's a big old line of traffic here much of the time. That's your left-hand turn right there. I'll zoom in on it. As you can see, there's no visibility to the pedestrian until you're basically actually in the crosswalk in that turn. Here's the crosswalk. Not visible. There's no special markings, no paint in the road, certainly no signage, no blinking light. You're trying to whip through there before that truck comes. You're not looking for pedestrians. Left-hand turn into this pedestrian crosswalk. People coming that way just don't see it. Okay, here I am, a pedestrian trying to cross. Any chance in hell someone's gonna see me. Respectfully asking the city to consider putting back in the crosswalk that was previously right here, that frankly most of the folks in this neighborhood still cross here as though it were here. This is not just an issue of traffic, although that is certainly an issue and drivers need to be much more considerate and careful. It's just a structural and an engineering issue. This just doesn't make sense for people. It doesn't make sense for walkers. It doesn't make sense for people with disabilities. It doesn't make sense for the elderly. And the fact that the city is allowing this hazard just is a lack of demonstration of care for those of us who are vulnerable and who rely on pedestrian transportation, to rely on our own 2 feet to get places downtown.